It is Monday. You guys already know what the time it is. It is time to react. We're going to be talking about this Big Ten and other conference. They try to monopolize the game. They want auto bids and they push it for 4. I mean, we only get 12 teams in and they want 4. Dion, Primetime Sanders. We ain't talked bold football in a while. So we're going to talk about them. What life will be out after Shador and Travis Hunter. Also, he's not going on really in-home recruiting visits. We're going to talk about that as well. Plus, we're going to get into some rapid fire superlatives. I think you guys are really going to like this episode. Only on Overreaction Mondays. Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, a.k.a. downtown Nino Brown. Yes, sir. Welcome to another marvelous episode of Overreaction Monday. I am the governor of college football, and with me is a guy that needs no introduction, the mayor of college football, downtown Nino Brown. Nino, last week's episode was crazy, bro. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Watching you and Boomer go at it. You and Boomer, you put Boomer on mute. Some of the takes, and it's crazy. I love listening to you guys' takes because really when it comes to college football, there's certain times I'll listen to the Pates of the world, the Joel Klatts of the world. But for the most part, I listen to us because I don't want my head clouded with any of that. So I was listening to Moon's take. And then, of course, there's a stat that Nino hates. And it's returning production. And, of course, my guy Bill Conley pulled it out today. And I see Clemson at that number 1 spot. I said, Moon, you might be on to something, brother. And Texas Tech is looking sweet as well. Nino, how you doing today, brother?
Loving life, man. We're here. We're talking college football in the quote unquote off season, right? We ain't gotta do nothing but talk today. We got an EP in the background, so shout out to our guy Moon. It's gonna be a banger. I'm sorry, I got fired up last week for all the viewers out there. I dropped a couple F-bombs. I mean,
that's the best episodes.
It was circling, bro. I can't be circling around. Like I'm not a rat in a rat race or a mouse in the wheel, man. We say something, we stick to it. That's how I am. You know what I mean? So we can't be going backwards, right? Going forward.
You're right about that. And my apologies. I'm pulling Nino out of the rabbit hole. Make sure you guys check out DCNation.com. He's been doing these MAC conference outlook. I've been enjoying these articles. I'm telling you, there are entities who are aware of who we are. And it's amazing because we're flattered. We know who they are, but they also respect what we do, and they know who we are. And it's flattering. But let's get into this episode. I'm excited about this one. I'm really excited about this one. As I said in the cold opening, into the news, both the Big Ten and the other conference. I explained last week why we call it the other conference. You want auto bids into the college football playoff, with the magic number being 4 teams apiece, controlling 57% of the playoff field, with 8 teams automatically in. Do both Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey have a legitimate argument here? Are they both smoking good Buddha? And if so, pass that Dutch.
I mean, they might be smoking that good. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily sure. But I will say, here's my question. What's the benefit of playing a tough schedule if they don't get something out of it, right? I've always known as you go along with, you win something, you get something, right? Like that's usually how it goes. You work at something, you do something with hard work, you play something difficult, and you win. You're supposed to get rewarded. Now, I'm not saying that maybe an 8-4 team should be getting in over a 11-1 team in another conference. But I'm just saying, why would the SEC, which was talked about last year, why would they want to go to a 9th SEC game if it doesn't benefit them? That loss in that 9th SEC game could knock them out of the playoff. You said they want 4 each. KT, we talked about this already. I talked about this to you last year. It's not 12. There's always a backup plan. I said after the G5 team dropped, that this was going to happen, right? That we're going to have a backup plan, that we're going to expand it to 14 because they already knew that someone and something was going to piss people off. So now it would be 4 teams from, as you call it, the other conference, 4 teams from the Big Ten, 2 from the ACC, 2 from the Big 12, 1 G5 winner, right? And then the 14th team would be an at-large bid. Pretty much Notre Dame's going to the playoff every single year, as long as they have a decent schedule, a decent record at the end of the season. But I said to you last year, when a G5 team comes in, right, and beats out a team in a Big Ten or the SEC because they get that guaranteed conference win, it was going to ruffle feathers. Dude, Boise was an 8. I love Arizona State, but they were a 12 in the final rankings. They were a higher seed than Georgia. They were a higher seed than Ohio State, who won the whole damn thing, right? Tennessee, Penn State. Hey, nobody liked them. They weren't in the playoff, but even though Indiana was ranked higher than Boise and Arizona State. So it's like, it says, do they have validity yet? Because I think maybe they do have a little validity. I don't know if 4 teams is guaranteed or the auto bid, but it's like, I called this. I saw this happen. Yes, it's a money grab, right? We all know that. But again, it all falls back to my opening. What's the point of playing a difficult schedule? Why would we add games? Because you're going to be eliminating the chances of having, Texas against Oregon, right? Or Michigan against Alabama. If we start going down this hill, because they're not going to schedule these games. They're not going to put them on there. They're not, because why would we add them in there and here and there if not? And then it's always a thing. And you say, it's not really an opportunity. Money talks. And we know who has the most money, right? The Big Ten and the SEC. They already tried to say, screw you guys. We'll go do our own freaking playoff between us two. And you guys can kick rocks. And it didn't work yet. But 2026 might be a whole different story and a whole different ballgame. So this might be like, the padding to the initial dropping of the bomb come 2026. But it's coming. I mean, again, you want better teams playing in the season. You want better football in season. So you want the best playing the best. And there has to be a benefit of the best playing the best. In my consideration. I mean, you can roast me if you want about it, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think there's 2 ways to look at this. We remember the first few opening games. We saw Notre Dame thrax Indiana. We saw Penn State thrax SMU. And then during that time, if you remember how crazy Twitter was or X was during that time, it's like, whoa, well, Alabama put up a better performance than this, or Ole Miss would have put up a better performance than this, or South Carolina would have put a better performance up than this. The fact of the matter is, these 2 conferences generate the most money in the sport. It is what it is. So we're going to have to deal with Greg Sankey, and we're going to have to deal with Tony Petitti for a very long time. And the fact that they've built this alliance, it's going to be difficult to deal with. Bottom line is, they want their 4 auto bids. Come 2026, they're going to get their 4 auto bids. But I think Nino made a really interesting point, because he was like, hey, they're talking about these 4 automatic bids, but, is this for a 12-team playoff? Is this for a 14-team playoff? Is this for a 16-team playoff? So I think that's the fact of the matter. So if you are one of the, because we're kind of shaping to where this is a power 2, and then we have the group of
G7.
G7 if we're being honest. So what would be your reaction if you're one of those teams, or one of those that, like, let's say, former Power 5? Like, if you are a team in the Big 12, or you are a team in the ACC, how do you feel about all of this?
You're calling smoking boys. You calling both of these boys. And if you're a big dog in these other conferences, like you say you are, then there's going to be interest from these 2 Power 2 conferences to come bring you in. I said it. We've said it. Both of us have agreed. Within 4 to 6 years, it's going to be the 2, and then the rest. But the numbers that are in the 2 might not be the same numbers that are in the 2 right now. You could be looking at an added 10. Another dozen teams, and now it's like, all right, well, now I understand. Now the 4 and the 4, right? It would probably be 5 and 5 at that point, but now it would make a little more sense. And again, we talked about it before. It wouldn't water down the schedule, because you're getting the best of the best playing each other in this super league, right? Between the Big Ten, and SEC.
And you were actually early on to this. So does it lead to Big Ten removing schools like Northwestern?
Yes, teams would have to go. The teams that can't put, you ain't playing with the big dogs. If it's about money, and it's not about the academics, it's not about anything else. It's about the money and the football product. Teams at the bottom, Vanderbilt might be getting called out. You know what I'm saying? Instead of being automatically staying in. So yeah, it's going to be teams like Northwestern, those teams that are bottom feeders that are just sit there and can never get above the 4 or 5 wins. Yeah, they may have to get relocated, and then you get teams from Big 12 in. I know it might hurt people's feelings, but it's just the fact of the matter is where we're at right now. Money talks, the product talks, and those W's talk. If you ain't won in 10 years, why would these big dogs, these two big dog, conferences want you? Where's your relevancy? Who's going, especially now in NIL, man? Money controls everything, right? So if you ain't got a bag, your school can't control it. If you're bottom in the athletic department when it comes to the money, like you talk about money, we'll get to the money in Colorado in a little bit, but like they made money. They're making money. The school is making money. So like if you ain't one of them, yeah, you might be, I don't like this. My chances just got, eliminated, right? Because you think about it, and I said before, when it was 12, there's like 50 teams that think they're in it. When it's 14 to 16, there's 100 teams probably that think they're in it. Well, probably 50 of those teams are going to, in the end, in 2 or 3 years now, we're going to come from one conference that major players. The other 50, that'll come from the other teams that are willing to get the money to the universities, that are willing to pay these coaches, and take risk on these younger coaches that are up and coming, like some of these big schools are, and it's paying dividends. So, yeah, I see. I think we all see the writing on the wall. I think you're going to get a better product. Like I said, if you keep complaining about, I want more SEC games, I don't want these layups against, Merrimack or Circuit City University, then fine. Then then playing a tougher schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina had the fifth toughest schedule, one of the top 5 toughest schedules last season. Everybody said there was no chance in hell. Yes, they lost 4 games, but look at how tough their schedule was, and especially all the SEC games they played. Now, why would they want to play that schedule? Or even add another team if they were on the outside looking this year? And the way you're making it seems like, they're not going to get the bids. So why would these teams add it? There's no. You're going to get more of these layup games, the Michigan schedules. That's what you're going to get, people. You're going to get the Michigan schedules. And if that matter, where, week 1 through 5, you're having trouble pronouncing the university's names.
For sure.
Or do you want the Tennessees, the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the Arkansas, those teams? I'm not dog, man. I'm from Mass, bro. I can talk smack about Merrimack. I have that. I can. You hear it in the accent, player. So if you want the best of the best, don't be pissed off when the best of the best is bitching and complaining they're not getting represented the right way. That's how I feel. Yes, they might get greedy at times, but when it's a little baby pup dog that can't even eat in the same bowl, just shut up.
Both of these conferences are feeding families, and I have to think, and we have to touch on this real quick before we pay some bills. There was no other conference representation in the national championship this year because it was Notre Dame and Ohio State. There was no other conference representation in last year's championship because it was Michigan and Washington. Greg Sankey is a guy that's going to do the work, and he's going to vocalize. If he has an issue, Greg Sankey is going to vocalize his problem. Love Jim Phillips. When Florida State got left out last year, I don't think he handled correctly. But shout out to my guy, Jim Phillips. Like I said, you always show love every time you see me. But Greg Sankey is not going to just sit here and wait and hope, or he's going to put the work in, and he's going to make sure that the other conference gets his proper representation. And like I said, these two conferences are feeding families. They're the most watched conferences. And when you look at the sport, now you do have the 1%ers like us. Like, I love ACC football. I love Big 12 football. I probably watched more Big 12 football than any other conference last year. The fact of the matter is, I like a lot of their games. The games typically are higher scoring and are typically closer down the stretch where clutch plays have to be made. Other than the debacle we saw for the Big 12 championship. But you guys,
those two conferences put the most in the NFL.
Yeah.
The most players out of the Big 10 and SEC go to the next level.
They do.
I'm sorry. When, Coastal Carolina and Buffalo and Old Dominion stop putting, 12 guys in the draft in the first 6 rounds for 10 straight years, then you can stand at the podium. But for right now, just sit in the back with your participation award and shut the hell up.
Enjoy. So yeah, we're gonna pay some bills. CFB Nation has a proud new sponsor. Is BetUS. You can save. I'm sorry, BetUS is going to give you 125% match bonus. Do your thing, Moon. Go ahead, cue the commercial. How y'all out here using these other betting platforms and you're not using the best one? BetUS. Get 125% match bonus on your first deposit using a promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. That's a 125% match bonus using that promo code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season. You know we don't believe in it, but there are plenty of things for you guys to sit here and bet on. Who will finish with the most wins in the NBA? Will it be the Oklahoma City Thunder? Or are you feeling the Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka, LeBron, and the Lakers win the play-in tournament? Bet US.
Not an NBA guy. Well, maybe you're a college basketball fan and you want to throw all your money on Auburn or Florida to win the March Madness tournament. Or maybe throw it on Creighton Blue Jays and Ryan Kalkbrenner to lead them to the March Madness tournament. Either way, type in that promo code CFB Nation on BetUS and get that money. Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory? Type in that promo code CFB Nation at BetUS and get that bag.
You like horses? We know that it's a sports Lollapalooza in May when the Kentucky Derby hits. BetUS got you covered for all the major horse races and all events.
Shout out to BetUS. Nino, let's move on to this next segment, man. Deion Sanders, for second consecutive season, hasn't made any recruiting in-home visits. And though the Buffaloes are bolstering, if you want to say bolstering, a 37th ranked class nationally, should a fan of the Buffaloes be concerned with Deion not making visits? And should AD Rick George have any issue with
it? AD Rick George is chilling, bro. I'm going to tell you why. Because plus in the green on the way up 31.2 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the football team brought in. Over 100 million for the athletic department. Okay.
Beautiful.
They profited. That was just ticket sales of 31.2 million. They profited 8 million clean. Boom. University made. He ain't getting mad about nothing. Yes, he's not recruiting. He's not going to houses, right? He's not knocking on doors. Got a top 5 QB in the class. Okay. Which is probably going to be the reason why he stays, because he's almost like family from what you hear, right? Mm-hmm. So they got a top 5 QB. Got 5 4 stars. Recruits didn't have to go to nobody's house. Okay. London Merritt for IMG, absolute dog. Defense. Adrian Wilson, the wide receiver position. He's stacking playmakers without even having to leave. Now, I'm not saying that he's right. I'm not saying it's the conventional way. But unfortunately, in this day and age, clout matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many IG followers, how many subscribers you have on your channel, how well off media does, which is his son's thing.
And he does a magnificent job,
right? They're cranking it out and they're cooking. So this day and age, that is almost like in-house recruiting. Unfortunately, it's just the way of the world in 2025. But he's going through the portal. Caden Salter replacing Shedeur Sanders. Last year, he went through the portal and rebolstered that wide receiver room. Jonte Wester, a gentleman out of Purdue that I'm forgetting his name, wide receiver. Why am I forgetting his name right now? Deep threat on the outside. But there was multiple guys, running backs, right?
Mm-hmm.
He went to Alabama, replacing got a defensive lineman in Jaheim Oates, right? 4-star recruit. He was top 25 in his class, right? Went out and got him, stolen from Alabama. Needed somebody to replace those wide receivers in the room. Joseph Williams. He's from Tulsa. Kid had 600 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jonte Wester, right? Nobody's talking about Jonte Wester, except for the maybe 3%ers in this thing prior to the season, because he didn't know he played for FAU and had 100 receptions. He just had no idea who he was. But he did it at Colorado as well, right? He brought in Vickers from Oklahoma to play defense. He's also brought in the dude from UTS. Can't think of his name off the top of my head. French, I believe it is. Linebacker. So he's bringing in dudes. Unfortunately, he's not cooking as much as everybody else is cooking. Maybe because he's not making in-home visits. But he's once stated that he'd rather get a guy that's seasoned than have to season the meat, right? Because the way the NIL works, you're not playing the inexperienced kid, and there's a chance, a 50% chance that he's not going to be there the next season. So why are you going to invest all this time and effort and money into someone that you don't know is going to be there? You invested the money for the kid to come there because you know what you're getting off the rip. Now, maybe that's why Prime won't be as successful at the next level. If he does go to the next level because he's not into the development process, we'll see how good the development process is now with Juju, right? Because if he develops Juju to be a top 5 kid in his class in college football as a quarterback, well, then I think all this aura and negative demeanor about his recruit is probably going to change because, hey, I didn't have to go to this kid's house. I recruited him. I bring him. You know what it is? It just came. He lets the top recruit the other guys. He recruited Juju. Now Juju's recruitment to Colorado is going to bring the recruits in, right? They got 2 offensive linemen just because Juju committed to Colorado. They flipped their commitment and went to Colorado. Once you've seen that he opened his commitment, one of the kids, Juju retweeted it with the eyes, whoop, like knew, all right, he's coming. So that's what Deion got bad foot, man. Right? He can't walk around that much. You need to come to him. And then he's going to get a guy, and then that guy is going to go pretty much billboard style, do his recruiting for him. You bring in one of them studs to the transfer portal, that brings in recruitment for you, right? That's the way he's working in my eyes. I don't know. I don't see it as a bad thing, man. You went from 3 wins in 3 years, right?
For sure.
16 wins in 2 seasons. So
and just outside
the top 25 or in the top 25, just outside winning your conference champion, the Big 12 championship or being in that game. So it's unorthodox. It's not your conventional way, but he's winning. He's putting the product up. The numbers are in the green, and people are still willing to go play for him.
It's a product a lot of people are buying into, like you said, very, very profitable. Like you said, this is the cloud generation. A lot of people are gonna go off of that cloud, but don't we think that some of this is like low-hanging fruit? Like, the difference in between a recruit signing at a school like Arizona State or at a school like Colorado may be Kenny Dillingham went into the home. He shook the hand of the parents. He looked those parents in the eye. He had those conversations with them and was able to build a rapport with them. We say what we want. We all, get on Dabo Swinney, because of his inability to get players out of the portal. I hate that he does not utilize the portal, but something that he does really, really well is build those relationships, is get into these homes and build solid foundations. And that's why you see a statistic like I saw today, the highest return of production, I know Nino hates the stat, and the country is at Clemson right now. Clemson is loaded because of he's being able to go into these houses, build relationships with these people. And every time I go down Clemson, every time Moon goes down Clemson or is near Clemson, you know what you see? You see a bunch of old players that were on the team down there. I'm talking about at spring games. You see it at practices. They have really built a family with that approach. Now, Deion is still getting it done. Let's not forget he's able to get players through the portal, and he's able to do what said. I don't gotta recruit. My players gonna recruit for me. My players are gonna be my testimony, and they're gonna be the reason why you want to come and play for Boulder. But I just feel like just like if Dabo would use the portal, hit those spots that they could really use and upgrade from, that could catapult them into a perennial, top 5, top 10 team. If Deion would make these visits in home, build rapport with family, shake some people's hands, I think it'll make a difference. I think some of this is low-hanging fruit that he's just like, hey man, either you want to come or you want to come.
Hey, so I agree with you. You probably could, boost it to a different stratosphere. 27th ranked recruiting, never left Colorado. They crazy. Were 27th this year, 35 in composite, but 27th in the recruitment. Right. And we can hate on them like all we want. You know what I mean? We all have our opinions, good or bad. But men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie. For sure. Top 30 recruiting for a guy that ain't leaving. Sitting up in the mountains in his cozy little office that's like an apartment in the sky and getting it done. Yeah, maybe if he started to go to a couple, maybe they'd be top 15, top 20. But they got the top 5, bro. They got a top 5 quarterback in the class, and the dude never had. I mean, that's got to say something for what he does in the product that he's building, right? Like, Shador obviously helped, right?
For sure.
Obviously helped, and like, you could see, like, Neon, the streamer, he kind of helps the thing as well because he brings on Juju and lets him do his thing, and Shador, and they all work kind of in a close little circle. Them guys, but he's not your conventional way of doing his thing, right? He's going to streamers, and but he's getting it done. He's when Jordan's with it, Sexton signed last year. Everybody thought that kid wasn't coming to Colorado. It's a farce. He just said he verbally committed. He ain't going there. Well, he went and showed up and showed out, right? He kept Shador clean on his end. I don't know about everybody else, but Jordan did. So homeboy bought him a G5, right? Bought him a truck because he was the dude, right? So back-to-back years, getting them big 4 or 5-star talents. Second was a 5-star offensive lineman, top 2, I think, in his class. He's getting these the big guys. I mean, he could probably get some bigger ones.
He could.
But what's to say Juju comes in, they win 9 games again this year? What the hell do you think that recruiting class is going to look like after?
Right.
With his feet up on his couch, mind you. They're probably going to be in the top 20 while he's sitting at home or sitting on the couch, getting the nubby foot massaged in some Epsom salt, saying, "Give me my money." Must be the money. That's what he does, bro.
Right.
Hate on him if you will, and I can see why people don't like it. You know what I mean? I'm a little older. Deion's my guy. There's some things I don't like about what he does.
100%. Same. I think I watched damn near every Colorado game. Huge supporter, but like you just said about the school, I can support something and still be critical of it at the same time. And that's
pull the wool over us.
Yeah. And that's gonna be the difference in between him and somebody like Billy Napier, a guy that is doing the work. Top 5 recruiting classes back-to-back years. It's because he's putting the work in. He's not leaving any.
That's saving his job. That's saving his job.
That's saving his job for sure. All right, Nino, I'm excited for this next segment. I wanted to get into some rapid fire 2025 superlatives, kind of like yearbook style.
Okay.
Who will be the other conference, the SEC? I'll say it for everybody. Coach of the year this upcoming year.
Shane Beamer. Because things are going to get real hot and spicy. They're about to do some real things, and I think the next question that you're about to ask, I'll it'll piggyback off each other. But
I think you've been real consistent, and I like this. 2025 winner of the Heisman Trophy will be
Lenora Sells, because I think everything that's going to go through South Carolina is going to go on that man's back. Listen, this dude was 9-4, right? They were 9-4 in his first year as a starting QB. 2,200 plus yards in the air, 17 touchdowns. My dude had almost 700 yards on the ground, right? He had 7. So you had 24 touchdowns. First year starter in the top 5 toughest schedule in the nation. 134 teams, top 5. The kid, you watch this kid develop week by week by week by week. Nobody could get Nick Harbor to be relevant. Not a single person. Oh, my boy Goggle, man. Mr. Goggles, he got it done, right? Nick Harbor became relevant. All of a sudden, Nick Harbor said, you know what? F track. I'm not doing any spring track. I'm playing football.
I'm locked in.
Him and Lenora Sells are clicking. Got the light switch on him. They're on. They're going. The defense is stacked, right? Dylan Stewart is an absolute monster, about to shoot them all up. That's his celebration thing. Pow, 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 pow. Dude, that team, what they brought in, Mazio Bennett, people wanted to sleep on him, right? You still sleeping? The kid performed. Year 1. Flag plant. I'm just saying. This is what we do. Me and my man Bosard, this is what we do. We called this last year. It happened. I'm calling it. And we talked about it when I was in Mobile with him. Bro, he's not ready because he's not used to having expectations this high.
Right.
He says when he opens up the webpage and it says that they're probably going to be top 20, team coming into the season, that his heart can't handle disappointment being that high. I don't think there's going to be any disappointment. I think the progression, development we've seen in this kid, when rolling out, looking to throw first instead of taking off, like just making throws, getting better and better in tougher situations, being able to put the team on his back, dude, like he was Dora with a backpack and just navigating everything for them. Bro, Sellers, he cooked. He was Zeke memeing it up, bro. Cereal, the milk was gone, a bowl was empty, and he threw it on the ground and smashed it. He's coming for that hardware this year. I think Shane Beamer is going to be right there. Bro, they go hand in hand. The vibe is the heartbeat. The blood pulse, it's the same for both of them kids, the kid and that coach.
I love that pick. And shout out to Brian Bosarge. 2025, and actually this is my personal favorite award. Joe Moore award winner for the nation's top offensive line. The last 2 seasons, we seen Army win it this past season. The season before that, we saw Washington win. Who will win the 2025?
He came back. He's gonna have a different quarterback, but I think this was outside of the NIL money that they threw at Carson Beck and all the costs that got stolen. I think Francis Mugawa is going to be the Jomo winner. I mean, this dude had 900 plus snaps, allowed 1 sack. 1 sack and 900 plus snaps. And now
crazy.
you're getting more of a pocket quarterback. So, I mean, I know he plays on the opposite side, the left tackle, it's the right tackle, but this dude is an absolute stud. I think there's a very, very good chance this kid is your Joe Morrow. And I mean, I like to see how it sets up, how that offense is going to set up come spring. We'll start to see. But if they're going to be relying on Beck, which I'm assuming he came back to make his draft status,
for sure,
bubble, he's going to want to be throwing the ball, right? I know that backfield's younger, so they're probably going to rely on this veteran quarterback. And this is going to be a guy that's going to need to, control this line. I think this dude has a very good chance of being up there. I mean, talked about all year as a top 3 dude for the Jomo.
I love it. And shout out to D now, man. $50 to Toys R Tots. That K Klubnik wins the Heisman. I love it. I'm liking that a lot. Let's get into the next one. Bowl eligible team in 2025 that wasn't this past season.
East Carolina.
Oh, I like that one.
They went 5-3. But they got to overhaul. They got this kid running back, Parker Jennings, that comes over from Houston that me and Dino are big on. We did Debbie Dollins about him. Bolstered their defense heavy in the portal. Got Tyler Johnson, wide receiver out of Penn State. They stacking the talent. They're one game out of it last year with a lot of turmoil, coaching problems. I just think bolstered the defense, getting some playmakers on offense. You were one game away last year in what is it? American Conference, right? Like one game away. Added some real good talent. Got a kid from South Carolina. He was a depth guy, but he's a special teamer as well. I think it's Magnum or whatever it was. So there's a lot of moving pieces. But I think when you're one game away, you're not really losing many playmakers. You're adding some key playmakers at positions that you were hurting at, and you solidified that coaching staff. I think they can get that 6th win and get themselves in the bowl next year.
I love that pick. That pick hits home. I kicked off the CFB Nation Tour last year in Dowdy Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina, and that fan base deserves a bowl game. So I'm interested to see it. So me personally, I love that pick, Nino. I absolutely love it. Let's get into this next one. Bowl eligible team this past season that won't be next season.
Fresno State. I think they lost too many pieces. They lost some guys on the coaching staff. Mikey Keene is gone, right? Malik Sherrod's gone. So that's a lot of their offense. I believe they lost a wide receiver as well. Yeah, Moss. He left. He went to Arizona State, Jaden Moss. So it's like they lost a lot of production. You guys like that returning production. Right. But that's just not returning this year. So hey, they only won 6 games. I think having those 3 big pieces, never mind 2 defensive linemen and a safety that were big for them this year, also hit the portal or graduated. I think Fresno State's going to have trouble getting to bowl eligibility. They may have 4 or 5 wins this year. I just think I don't see them getting to bowl. I think they're going to be fighting and clawing for every victory this year. It's going to be a growing season. Maybe next year they're right back at it in that bowl system, but I don't think this year is going to be a year for them.
Mississippi State is my pick.
Dino says Army. That's the layup, bro. Losing so many dudes. The whole Russian offense is gone.
is my pick for who will and who won't will be a layup for sure. Will be Arkansas. They will not be bowl eligible this year. Their schedule is brutal. Sam Pittman won't make it to 5 games, and that's crazy. All right, last question. Who will be Ohio State starting quarterback in 2020?
Julian Sayin. I mean, the kid didn't transfer and go there. I mean, and Nolan didn't leave because that Julian Sayin wasn't going to be there. Devin Brown didn't leave because Julian Sayin wasn't going to be the guy, right? The kid is him. They're saying that he's probably the best quarterback they've had in 10 years. Like just everything that's yes. It's what there's reports coming out. This kid is already him. Had he played this year, he might have been in that talk about that New York City at the end of the year. That's the talk that they talk about this gentleman coming into this season already. I know it's Ohio State. They're going to make themselves. But I think him, Jeremiah Smith, that wide receiver room, those defensive guys that they're returning. Denzel Burke, is he going to the draft? Or is he returning?
Did Burke declare? I'm not sure if Burke declared.
I thought there was a couple guys that said they were going to run it back from that defense. But I'm not sure. He may be entering. I don't want to say any false information. But I know there's a couple guys that are returning. Bro, Julian Sayin's probably going to keep them in the top 5 Oh, yeah. Jeremiah Smith, the reason he didn't hit the portal when Chip Kelly left is truly insane. The one and only reason he didn't hit the portal.
I would agree. He was upset when Chip Kelly left. I'm going to tease this next segment. I think a lot of you guys are going to like it. Just have week 1 schedules ready when we get back. Moon, go ahead. Take us to commercial. Look at you out here using all these other sports books and you ain't even using the best one. Bet US. Get 125% match bonus when you use the promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. 125% match bonus on your first deposit using that code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the off season, even though we don't celebrate that. You know, CFB Nation, we do college football 24/7. But there are plenty of things for you guys to bet on.
Who will have the most wins? OKC Thunder or Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka and LeBron make it all mesh to make it to the play-in tournament? Maybe you're a college basketball guy ready to risk it all for Florida to make it to the big dance.
Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory?
May is going to get popping when the Kentucky Derby hits town. BetUS has you covered in that way too, with all major horse racing events. Point is, type in that promo code CFB Nation and go get that money.
Shout out to BetUS for being the sponsor of CFB Nation. Nino. I know you're a lot like myself. We're schedule watchers, dog. And college football is taking no prisoners week 1 out the gate. Week 0 is pretty special, but the thing that I love about week 1 is there is no NFL. And Twitter is weird this week. I know you guys know it. A lot of people don't want to say it.
Everyone's a fan.
I'm going to say it. Yeah, everybody's talking college football. I'm like, bro, like, go stand in the corner. Leave our sport alone. So a lot of times I don't tweet in week 1. I wait for week 2. So here are some of the marquee matchups. You guys will laugh at a couple of these, but I think they're really interesting matchups because what do we expect from these teams? A lot of these teams will have measuring stick games this week. We got Alabama versus Florida State. We got Auburn versus Baylor. We got LSU versus Clemson for the Battle of Death Valley. I'm excited for that. We got Utah versus UCLA. That's an old Pac-12 matchup. We got Georgia Tech versus Colorado. I'm really interested to see what both of these teams are looking like out the gate. We got Syracuse versus Tennessee. Will this be a closer game than we saw this last year ACC, the other conference matchup with Tennessee thrashed NC State? We got Texas versus Ohio State, and that will be probably 1 and 2 in the inaugural rankings. And then we got Sunday games. And I love Sunday college football. We got Notre Dame versus Miami, and that's that Catholics versus Convicts game. Rumor has it that CFB Nation may be starting their tour down there this year. I don't know if it's short. And then we got South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. I really love this game, and this is where Beamer Ball was invented. And then we got a Monday game, TCU versus North Carolina, and we'll see Bill Belichick's debut. Nino, a lot to unpack here. What are the matchups you're most excited for, and what are the sneaky good games, and arguably, in your opinion, the game of the week?
I mean, the game of the week is obviously, Texas versus Ohio State. I mean, that's obviously the game of the week. You're excited to watch Florida State get absolutely murdered and Thomas Castellanos get spun around like Tasmanian devil too? Come on.
We got high stock on Alabama this year. Last time I seen them,
against Florida State. Against a non-pro quarterback.
Yeah, Florida State was terrible last year. So I'm interested to see, will this be a rebound year for Coach Norvell, or will he be out? Or will he
I think that seat's gonna be real hot.
You think it's gonna be hot?
Yeah, halfway through the year. The Battle of Death Valley. I'm all for that. I guess the Texas for Ohio State. That's obviously game of the week. Notre Dame, Miami. I love that game. Catholic First College. I just actually watched that documentary.
I love that 30 for 30. Yes,
absolutely wonderful. I'm excited for Bill's debut. I want to see what's going on. Hey, people might say whatever they want to say. Oh, he didn't sign his contract too late. But people are committing to him. He just got the #1 player in Massachusetts, offensive line. Kid's like 6'7". Right, he committed to North Carolina. He had Clemson on the board. I think he had Tennessee on the board. He had like 20 plus offers. The #1 kid in Matt. Bill's not here no more. Right, he down the East Coast, down 95 to North Carolina, but he's still taking the talent away. And Bill Bears Bill gonna be something fun because Belichick gonna be still trying to eat in Mass. This is where it's at. So that'll be interesting to see what kind of product he puts out on the field off rip. Who's going to be the guy to replace Amari Hampton in that production? Week 1. The quarterback is Carousel, right? Is it right? Is it going to be the incoming kid that I was big on? After Ryan Brownie, he came in a few weeks and did something. The true freshman did something. He's in North Carolina. Is he going to win that job? He went there for a reason. So Bill, believes in him, likes what he saw in a small sample size. So it'll be fun to see what goes on. Under the radar games, as I kind of just peek at the schedule. Delaware State at Delaware, right? On that Thursday. I want to see, right? I want to see, D-Jack in his coaching debut. They just locked in the game against Norfolk State at Philadelphia Stadium. So that's just going to be fire.
That's going to be fire. And you said Delaware just jumped up. They're now in the FBS. We now have 136 teams, had 134 last year.
See what I'm saying? So that's you also just got Clinton Portis, right? Joining running back coach for Delaware State. So big names would probably draw bigger crowds. ESPN might make an appearance, or an affiliate will probably be there. So in the house. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
We hit up a couple of HBCU games last year, and then we're probably going to up the ante on that this season. I'm excited for that.
Let me just scroll through. You mentioned Tennessee at Syracuse. I just need to know. Like, I'm all about the dot mentality and Fran Brown, but who's the quarterback? Who's gonna take over the reins and command the ship? Let me see here. Let me just keep scrolling through. Coastal Carolina at Virginia. Ethan Vasco was QB there. He hit the portal, right? So it'll be interesting who's going to take over as Coastal Carolina's QB1. What are they going to do this season? Virginia, right? That finally no more QB battle anymore, right? Like the old boy's gone. Calderon to be the guy. They've put back-to-back big receivers into the draft, right? Fields and Washington in back-to-back years. Is there going to be another wide receiver that emerges for Virginia? So especially at home, right? In Charlottesville, that'll be something week one. Let me just keep scrolling down here. We're gonna get to see, and I know you're a fan of USF, right? You're a big USF fan. The coach over there is
I'm a huge Alex Golesh guy. Yes,
Boise State. We're gonna get to see what they're gonna look like. A year removed from the playoffs, right? Is it gonna be a rebuilding year, or is it gonna be a refocusing year, or is it gonna be business as usual? Will they have the pieces in play to step in? Can Spencer Davidson, the coach over there, can he?
Danielson.
Can he continue to right the troops, man? He's somehow able to get them on pace and do their thing for the past.
He's a good ball coach.
South Carolina at Virginia Tech.
Yo.
In the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yo.
Come on. There's only 2 games of college football. That one kicks it off on set. Like, come on, man.
Dude.
That Sunday, right? What time? It doesn't to be determined game. So that's probably going to be like 4 or 3:30 game, because the night game's at 7:30. Bro, when that entrance goes off in Virginia Tech, Ghost, bro, that place is rocking. You could probably feel that outside the stadium in your car. That's wild. That's how you kick off college. With a team that's ranked in the top 15, probably, with a Heisman favorite and a Coach of the Year candidate, bro, they are going to be
Tyler Bowen is finally gone. No disrespect. He's at Ohio State now. I think offensive line running back. I'm interested to see. I ain't putting no stock in Virginia Tech this year. They Texas Tech me last year. So I ain't putting no stock in them. Yeah, Texas Tech will be pretty damn good this year, though.
And my last sticky one is I'm tired.
Oh.
I'm tired.
So hold on, Nino. Solo to Nino.
I'm tired of the Noah Fafita talk. I was part of it. The 1 year magic, right? Last year I watched some aggression. I talked to you about it multiple times. I saw him just going for the first half of the year. 1 year, first read, boom. First read, boom. Or he was taken off. Like, man, there would be no conversation about who wide receiver 1 is in this class if we had better quarterback play from Noah Fafita, yet my man still dominated in T-Mac. Like, come on, bro. Like, Hawaii is establishing themselves. They're slowly building something, right? The master, Chang, right? He's out there rounding up the Rainbow Warriors. In year 3, maybe we'll start to see somebody, that returning the quarterback as well, right? They got some pieces. Ashlat Polief is back, the wide receiver on the outside, the playmaker. This is going to be a measuring stick game for Arizona. Yes, I know the competition, but they can't go out and allow 35 to Hawaii week 1. and win the game 35, 45, 35. No, they got to dominate. Arizona has to dominate. And Nova Fita has to go out there and be damn near I want to see 70% in this game, 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns. I want to see him be the reason why they win this game. He rode coattails, bro. There's no Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber in this one. Ain't gonna be no orange and blue suits. You need to be the guy carrying it, holding the cane, right? Let's go, bro. Write this ship off like last year, get it right, and be the main guy for the Wildcats this year.
Wow. At the Rainbow Warriors.
I wouldn't be surprised, Like, I really wouldn't be. I love Kendrick Reese-Cano, and I think he could be a guy that could step in and fill that role in Arizona this season. But, I think Fafita was part of the problem last year. I didn't think I would have said that.
And it's heartbreaking because a lot of us, like you said, had high hopes for him going into the season. Nino, we 8 weeks out from the NFL draft. I definitely enjoyed the inaugural episode of Road to the NFL Draft. You guys killed it last week. I can't wait for this one on Thursday. You want to give us a sneak peek of what some of the topics you guys might be talking about on Thursday?
Yeah, so my guy Mike, he figured because we went to the weaker class, what consensus says in the draft, we're going to hit you with the loaded class. And we think the running back class is probably the heaviest class. And the community's been saying that the heaviest class probably in the last 10 years. The last 3 or 4 years, we've been saying there's only 1, maybe 2 guys that were worth drafting in the first 90 picks. I think you might see 3 to 5 guys that might go in the first 90 picks this season. And so we're going to be covering the running backs. Listen, it's this or that segment that you might want to be in, therefore be guys in this class. Would you like to have this guy or that guy? I really enjoy the segment where it's, who would you rather have, guy currently in the NFL or a guy coming into the NFL? So I'm with it. Caleb Johnson is RB2 for me, Dino, and I know you're an I guy. He's RB2 for me, okay? And there is some separation between him and Amari Hampton for me, but it's nice to finally see the Bears and all of these animals come out of hibernation in the community and start to see that Caleb Johnson is not just 3 yards in a cloud of dust, okay? That Caleb Johnson has soft receiving hands just because there was no quarterback that could get him the ball, okay? He has all the capabilities and everything you want and the 3-down back at the NFL. But he didn't have anything around him, really. How many Iowa offensive linemen are going in the NFL draft in the first 90 picks? That's crickets, in case anybody was wondering. My man got it. He may not be on screen fast. He's fast enough on field. Football fast. My man got the wiggle. My man will pound you to death. My man can carry the rock. Yes, he has more on tape of catching, but that doesn't mean he's a better pass catcher. He just has had an opportunity. I'll take Caleb. I think. Clip it if you want, Moon. I think that Caleb Johnson has the opportunity to have a better NFL career than Aston Genty.
Wow. Make sure you guys are there on Thursday for Road to the NFL Draft. Moon and I are going to go live tomorrow for College Football Showdown. Jalen won't be there for that episode, but he'll be back on Thursday. Some of the things we're going to be talking about tomorrow, we're going to look at this return of production list. Of course, we're going to deep dive into Moon's prediction on Clemson and why he believes Clemson is the team to beat in the ACC, plus much, much more. Shout out to everybody who stayed this entire episode. Truly appreciate all the commenters. Shout out to my guy Nino, who kills it week in, week out, everything he does for us on Twitter, YouTube, everything else. The articles that he's putting out on the website, the articles and the website. I mean, I go to a lot of college football websites. I go to Bro Bible, Athletic, Bleacher Report, ESPN, On 3, 24/7. I'm just saying, CFB Nation has the most appealing website. That's all I'm saying. That's all I ain't saying we got the most information. We got the most appealing website. I look at our website. I look at y'all website. Like I said, I just like the way that our website look. As I always like to say, there are no more victories in the sport that survive and advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. And until next time, y'all already know what it is. Yes, sir. How y'all out here using these other betting platforms and you're not using the best one? BetUS. Get 125% match bonus on your first deposit using a promo code CFB Nation. Yeah, you heard me correctly. That's 125% match bonus using that promo code CFB Nation. We know that college football is in the offseason. You know we don't believe in it. But there are plenty of things for you guys to sit here and bet on. Who will finish with the most wins in the NBA? Will it be the Oklahoma City Thunder? Or are you feeling the Cleveland Cavaliers? Can Luka, LeBron, and the Lakers win the play-in tournament? Bet US.
Not an NBA guy? Well, maybe you're a college basketball fan and you want to throw all your money on Auburn or Florida to win the March Madness tournament. Or maybe throw it on Creighton Blue Jays and Ryan Kalkbrenner to lead them to the March Madness tournament. Either way, type in that promo code CFBNation on BetUS and get that money. Basketball isn't for you? Maybe you're a football guy. Well, BetUS got you covered with this year's UEFA Championship. Can Liverpool or Barcelona win it all? Will Erling Haaland or Harry Kane lead their teams to victory? Type in that promo code CFBNation at BetUS and get that bag.
You like horses? We know that it's a sports Lollapalooza in May when the Kentucky Derby hits. BetUS got you covered for all the major horse races and all events.
Yes, sir. Today I am the governor of college football. Yes, sir. The mayor of college football, aka Down.